Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we had finished up our passenger side corner. I'll put a link to that for you guys so you can watch that if you want. Today we're going to tackle the driver's side corner. That won't be a complete repair like that side. There's our patch panel. It's just going to be the bottom. Hopefully the battery tray area on this side is good. Probably not. I know how things work, but that's today's project. So let me get dug into it and we'll come back for more. All right, guys, girls, I think we're ready to start cutting stuff out here. What I'm gonna do is I would like, here's our patch panel. It's gonna go on here. Inside here, we have our tray. I'd like to try to cut out right along the very top of the tray here. Since we're gonna be keeping this tray, it's nice and solid. And my reasoning for that is when I weld my panel on here, it'll help with distortion because I'll have something solid, and it'll help hide my seam on the inside. It'll make less work because I do go through when I have seams. If I were to weld up here, I don't have a problem, but then I do come in here and I have to finish that, and I do body work on it, filler, whatever, to make this look nice, because everything gets done inside and out on all of our restorations. So it'll make it easier for me if I can cut it along that line. So what I'm gonna do here, I am going to, got these holes, I'm gonna bolt this on here temporarily to the old panel. That. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the inside here again, and I'm going to drill some holes through this panel where the top of that is. So that'll give me where my line is going to be, where I need to cut. Let's see if I can do it without drilling my finger. Okay, got that drilled. Now I need my key. So there's where our line is going to be. And I did this yesterday on that other side, and it actually worked out pretty well. I'm going to tape this on here. So what I'm going to do, instead of using my cutoff wheel, I'm going to use the laser to cut this. Now I should probably wipe the dirt off. And what this is going to give me is a nice straight edge to So we've got the laser cutter. So they'll just come along here. Now, it worked out good yesterday because I wanted to try to cut through both panels. And it worked, but I did turn the laser up a little bit higher because yesterday I didn't quite make it through the second panel. So I'm going to go turn the laser on here. Got my glasses. Let's see how this works. I'll have to kind of freehand it up here. That's all right. You see how steady I am. Because this panel actually, that battery tray kind of curves up in there. It's not perfectly around. Got her. Let's take her panel off. Kind of maybe weld a little bit. So that's where our panel is going to go. Now I've just got to go through and cut some more of that off, and I'll have to be very careful because our battery tray has a little lip there, so I don't want to ruin that lip, and I'll have to clean up this whole edge. So what I'm going to do then is I'll shut you guys down for a bit and let me get this off, and I'll show you where we're at. That did work out much better today with the laser cutter, turning it up and cut through both of them. So all right, see you in a bit. All right, we're back. I've got a cameraman this time. So I took and I cut everything out of there. I got all the old stuff off of there that we said we were gonna. I showed you how I had laser cut that off. So I'm gonna put this up here, kind of pre-drilled some of the stuff because we need to get this fit. And let's see my vice grips here. So that's about where we go. Like I said, I wanted it with that battery tray. But what I have to do is this particular patch panel, usually they come with the bend in here already, because this has to lip in. Well, the best quality ones again. So I took this ruler and I lined it up with my seam and I drew a line on here. so I can go bend that. Did the same thing on this side, so I know where to do that. I've made my patch panel, or my splash panel I should say, that goes in here. I'll put a link to my other video. I made one for the other side, and I went through the whole process how I made it, so I'll put a link to that so you can see how that's done. So I'm going to take this back off. I had to transfer my lines to the inside because we're going to go over to the brake. And I'm going to bend this. Now what's going to happen, this is curved. It's going to straighten it out. But we can fix that. That's why I kind of wish that, here, let's use this smaller one, that they were already stamped. And let's see how well this is going to go. I don't want to smash my fingers, but basically this is a magnetic brake, and when I turn it on, this is a big magnet. It's going to suck this down. Okay, let's see if it'll suck it down more for us when we get that. There we go. That flattened me out a little bit. Let's get on my line. Okay, now I'm just going to bend it. So we've got our lip there. I'm going to do the same thing with the part that goes by the rear door. Okay. So there's our bends. Now we're going to go back over here to the shrinker stretcher. Here's our piece that's going here. Here's the piece that goes here. I need to match that curve. I've got, this will do shrinking and it'll do stretching. I've got the shrinking discs in there. Basically it's just little clamps that are going to go closed. And it's going to kind of you can see it's starting to put the curve back in there. Oh, there's going to be more there, so I got to get a lot more down here. And if I go too far, which I'm sure I probably will, I can put the stretcher ones back in and bring it back out. Getting her. That's why it's nice when they make the patch panels, they usually have them already done. I didn't order these particular panels myself. My customer did, so. All right, that's that curve. This one I'm just going to put a little bit in there, and I'm going to probably have to adjust it a little bit to match my rear apron piece there. But you at least get the idea of how this is. Obviously this will have to get trimmed off a little bit. I probably should do that ahead of time. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna trim this to more of the size that it is. It'll make it easier, so I'm not trying to shrink all that in there. All right, so that's essentially what we're gonna do. I'll finish that up. There's our piece, how it's gonna go in there. I will come back and I'll cut this one to fit in there. Now, if you watch the one from the other day when I did the other side, you'll see that these best quality are not such best quality because it doesn't match. It's too long, but we'll fix it. This goes basically sandwiches between the battery tray and this wheel well, and that'll go in there, and we'll spot weld that. So what I'm going to do now is I'll finish that up, and then I'm going to switch over the laser over to the cleaner mode, and I'm going to clean all this, get all this rust out of here and cleaned up so I can put some protective coating on there, and then I'll come back and go from there, see how bad I screwed up. All right, back. I'll just show you a little bit of the laser cleaning, how it works, and go from there. I'm gonna put my respirator on, my glasses, and here we go. See, it burns the rust off pretty nice. When it's the thicker stuff like that was here, gotta kind of hit it with a wire brush just to get, sometimes there's a little bit of slag, but it actually, you can see it took the majority of it off right off the bat, same with this. So pretty good for cleaning. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll build a wire brush that up a little bit, throw some primer on my edges here, and then we'll come back and start welding our panels in. All right, see you in a bit. All right, back. We've did the laser cleaning of everything, and I fit our panel on here so we can start working on that. You know, I don't even know what these particular fasteners are called, but they work real nice. Essentially you've got these two pieces, and it sandwiches your piece of metal in between there, and it gives me a little bit of a gap. If you go online, you're gonna, there's two arguments to the story. Some say you shouldn't have any gap at all, some say you should. I like having a little bit of gap. I get a little bit of better penetration. So basically everything is on there like that, and I'm going to go through it. These actually, they help you keep your panels flush too all the way along. So I'm going to just go take the welder and I'm going to go around and put tacks in all of those. Do not touch it, Mark. I'm dumb enough that I have touched it many times. Okay. So now we can start slowly taking these guys out of here. So what I'm going to do now, I won't bore you with all of the welding, but I'm essentially going to just keep going around, and then what I'm going to do, once it's all tacked on there, we need to, these are going to shrink these spot welds are going to shrink our metal. So we need to go through and kind of planish them out. So I'm going to put the dolly on the back side of them. And I'm going to hit on each individual tack. So I'm going to keep doing that all the way around, and what that's going to do is that helps. If I don't do that, this is going to shrink in and there'll be like a gully in there. So we need to try to, and we need to go slow. The less heat we can put in here, the better. You can see that even though I've welded, it's cool, and we don't want any of this other metal to distort. I am banged up here a little bit from a dent. I'll have to work that out. But that's what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to come back after I've planished it out, and I'm going to grind all these welds just about flat. Then I'll come back and I'll put spots in between all of them again. Planish them out, grind them. And we're going to keep that process going until we obviously have all of our gaps filled in. And that'll allow us to hopefully have a straight panel with less dolly work later. So that's what I'm doing here. I will come back when I've got her just about done and show you the finished work, and then we'll start working on this little wheel well area here in our splash panel. All right, see you in a bit. Welcome back. Hope everyone's doing all right. So we've got our panel all welded on here. I think it turned out pretty decent. That's what our seam looks like on the inside. Good penetration. So what we're going to do now, let's get you in position. I've drilled my holes here for my plug welds. So when we get our battery tray up into position, back into position, we can plug weld that in. First though, we're going to put in our splash panel. And then we're going to fit this. So to put this in here, this gets sandwiched in between this fender well and the battery tray. There we go. Over far enough. And this will bend whatever. Okay. I've got the Harbor Freight spot welder. I call it the heavy beast because it's heavy, but it works very well. Saves a lot of time. I got to leave it on a little bit longer here because I've got 3 layers of metal. If it's 2 layers, it almost flicked the switch. Okay, what I'm going to end up doing, if you get the gist, I'll end up taking the tire off here and I'll be able to get in and do a few more back there. But that's how that works. This panel, if you watch my video from the other side, the joke that's going around with me is how this says best quality and it didn't fit worth a darn. It was way off and twisted. This one actually fits. Will work. It comes out here. It's straight across. So how they can get one right and not the other, I don't know. So basically what I did is I figured out where I needed to get it and I got it up in here and I had clamped it on. And I went from the inside and I drew myself a line. So we're going to cut this off. This will be our piece for this. Gotta straighten this out a bit. So essentially, I'll do a little bit of grinding there to make that fit just a little bit better. I'll get a better fit up. But what I had to do too, I don't know if I'll be able to get you in here or not to see what I did. So we've got our seam coming down here. And obviously we want that to be nice and tight. After I had welded this on, the bend here that I put on must not have been, well, it wasn't perfectly square. And I actually had, it came from the original piece and it went in a little bit and then came out. So what I did is I put a bead of weld along here to bring that out and then ground it smooth so I've got a nice straight line. I don't want to have to try to put filler in there to get this nice, so that worked out pretty well there. So that's essentially what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do the same thing I did here. I'm going to have this perfectly fitted. Tack, 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 tack. Get from the inside, planish, grind, tack, 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 and just keep doing that till I fill up my seam. This splash panel then pulls up tight to this, and then I'll have the spot welder in here and I'll spot weld right to there. And then I'll come through and get my battery tray up into position, and I'll do all my plug welds. And then this side should be done. Besides a couple of other spot welds I've got to put in there, but that isn't too big of a deal. So what I'll do is I'll get that done, and I'll bring you back and show you the finished product. All right. Well, that's a wrap for this side. Got this on. Turned out very well, I think. Got our splash panel spot welded in. Get all that ground up. There's our inside. What I'm gonna do now is I need to get some epoxy on here. I'm gonna clean up in here, wipe down any other little surface rust I see. I want to get some epoxy on there like we did on that side. So that's the wrap for this one. Thunder approved. And thanks for watching, guys. Click the little blue bus down in the right hand corner to subscribe to the channel. Check out my other videos. Probably move on to either this side over here or maybe even the whole nose replacement. So thanks again, guys.